Still plugging away on these prints. I'm working on the base right now. Having some issues with a couple of these. You can see a large crack in that one, but much worse, the entire backside of it didn't print. Now the top of this is pretty much okay. Depending on where that's gonna show up when this base is put together and the dragons are in place, I'm most likely gonna have to reprint that one. Everything's still printing around the clock. I've had to clean the base or the vat twice now out of all these prints. Yesterday morning I barely got anything printed for the simple fact that overnight that print was finished first thing in the morning. I did my routine, went about getting the next print started, and I forgot to fill the vat with resin. So 4 hours into the print, which is a 6.5, 7 hour print, ran out of, and I never came back to check it. I just completely forgot about it, and which is not surprising because I forget about stuff all the time. But yeah, so that one failed because it ran out of resin. I've heard people on doing their YouTube and stuff, people who print, they're like, oh yeah, you ran out of resin in the vat. And I was like, how could you ever do that? Yeah, I did it easily. But that one was upsetting because it was like 4.5 hours into it. So I had to clean that up. Started it over at the end of that print. I still had one more, which this kind of sucks. I haven't cleaned this one, but yeah, the entire top, if it was the side that had failed, I'd probably keep this, but obviously there's nothing I can do with this. And I'm keeping this up here because when I get around to going through and figuring out what reprints I've got, I can look at that. I guess I could look at the other ones too. I guess I could throw that away, figure out which ones I have and which ones I need to reprint. But so far, let's see here. We've got, just for the base, that one was a good one. This is where I had the problem with the second group. And the 2 out of 3, still 5 hours. You know, looking at 10.5 hours right here. Another 6 hours, that one was good. This is the one that this one went last night, so I just cleaned that one up. This one's last night. I just cleaned this one up. This one's going right now. And this one, the 2 out of 3, that was the one I just showed you. And the little rock didn't even print. So now I've got 3 parts in here that I'm gonna have to reslice and all that, because I don't want to print the entire batch all over. I just want to print the ones that are have failed. So I'll have to redo that. Then the next thing, I'll give you guys a quick preview. So here's all my parts so far. I'm not sure which parts go where as of yet, but it's slowly getting there. It's looking pretty cool. This is going to be a really big base. Okay, so this is the first print that I've had where I've absolutely nothing happened. So this has been going for a couple hours now, and this is what I've gotten. So out of, I don't know how many prints I've done. There was 30 for the first. So I went through all of this without any failures, any big time failures. And then got through all of this, which I got a couple of parts that didn't print, but this is the absolute first, this one here, where I've gotten nothing. So literally that's 30 plus 13, so 43 prints, roughly. Take out 142. So 42 prints of nonstop printing before I finally got a absolute no-go, which is not bad. And again, all of my prints that I've been doing is I'm literally just adding resin. I'm not pulling the vat, I'm not pulling anything. I pulled the build, clean it off, put it back on, refill the vat, and start printing again. So 42-ish before I gotta, this is the first time that I've had this happen, so pretty good, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna clean this up, get it started again, see what's going on. Hopefully this will go. Again, that one's, oh, that just finished. So that's all done. All right, we'll be back in a little bit. All right, yet another failure. This is, I let this one continue going because obviously this one completely failed. I can't really tell. There's the head of the new dragon. There's an arm back there. There's the torso, I believe, and a little rock. So I'm getting like single failures for some reason. It's getting kind of, I was spoiled for having so many first time, so many successes in a row, I guess. Now I'm paying for it, so I'm gonna have a lot of reprints here towards the end of all this, and I'm gonna have to figure out what's what I have to reprint and what I have to find them. Basically, that's the main thing, that I gotta find which ones are which, because I just have a list of the files and I don't know which one is which. Like, I know this is the new dragon's head, but like the blocks, let me show you over here. So all of the base pieces, I don't know which one that is. There's 10 parts to the base, but I don't know which one, which is which. So I gotta, literally, I'll have to go through each one, look at them in the slicer, try to match them up with what I have and what I don't have, what I need to reprint, and the whole 9 yards. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So anyway, that's where the print currently is sitting. I'm gonna have to pull all this and clean the vat again. It's like every time I do a print now, I'm having to pull everything and clean the vat. So this is what happens when you get old and you forget things. If you notice, I covered up the screws with the towel. Since I didn't actually see them, since I covered them up, started my print. If you notice, my build plate is stuck in my vat, and it was printing, and I looked up while I was getting these pieces here all done, getting them wiped off and cleaned off and everything, getting them ready to start curing. And I looked over and I was like, did I just see that right? Is the vat moving? Why is the vat moving? And I started watching it, and I was like, son, and as soon as I looked at it, I immediately looked. I was like, I didn't, So I just spent 30 minutes cleaning up from the last fail on that print, which I think I got 4 of the main pieces. The last base piece didn't print. I think I showed that. I think this is a failure as well. I have to check though. I don't know if this is, I'm not sure, because this looks like it's molded, like that's where it was supposed to be, fit to the other piece. I'll have to look at that one. So I'm going to save that one. But yeah, now I get to clean all this up yet again. And the bad thing is that I have a little bit left in there. That's almost empty. I have 2 more coming, hopefully in the next day or 2. I have a full thing of black, and I think this is half full. Yeah, that's about half full, about right in there somewhere. So I can continue to print, and I can knock them out in black. And it doesn't matter which color resin, obviously, because I'm going to paint everything. So I have enough to continue to work until I get more resin. I'm probably going to have to do another order here shortly to get even more, because I think this dragon's going to chew through those 2 very quickly. So far, just for the base and everything else, and the other dragon, I think I've gone through both of those and maybe one of those. I can't honestly remember, but anyway, yep, let's start cleaning up again. Okay, so still printing dragon parts here. That one's going pretty good, it looks like. The last 2 days I've had some real big issues going on. But this one still has 3 hours, looks like 2:53. So that's the second dragon. I got a bunch of reprints that I have to do. Even though this here is a failure, it's on the interior, and just like all the rest of these pieces, you can see here, this is what they're supposed to look like. It's got a big chunk on it. I haven't cleaned any of these pieces off yet. Anyway, so literally what would happen is the torso, which is out in the other room, which is a failure, I brought it in and it fits on there perfectly. So there's enough surface here that I can glue this to the torso when I reprint it and have no problems whatsoever. So he'll end up, I'm not sure where he sits, possibly right there, I don't know. I haven't gotten enough of the rest of these parts here yet to figure out what his sitting situation is yet. So once they're done, they have a lot of suds on them. That's one of the downfalls of using Mr. Clean. And hence the reason why I said I wipe everything down after I print. Anyway, I'm gonna wipe these down, get them on that majig. This is what I was talking about earlier, because these have a lot of surface area. Those are going to cover up a lot of this space here. So I will do 30 minutes on each side with this one. Try to keep my space clean. So, all right, I'll be back a little bit. Okay, yo, this is the last part of this print process. This is finally curing. I'll run that for 30 minutes. Once the 30 minutes is over, I'll flip these, just for some fact that these cover up a lot of that foil, so the back side of those wings. I've found that if I just do them for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, when I pull them back out, the back side in the middle, you can kind of tell where it'd be, whatever it's resting on, the flat part, that part usually still is tacky a little bit, a little sticky. So by doing 30 minutes on one side, flipping it over, doing 30 minutes on the other, I have no problems with them whatsoever, and they're fully cured. And I can handle them as much as I like. Anyway, what I was talking about a minute ago was I ran 30 prints for one dragon, 17 for the base. I didn't number these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 25. So that's 55 and 17. Yeah, I suck at math. I can barely remember what I do from day to day, so bite me. 72 prints altogether. 72 files, I should say, because all in all I had 5 here, 7 here, that's 12, and 5 here, that's 17, 17 batches. Wow. The only parts until I got to here is where everything up to here went without a hitch, no problems. But once I get to here, this section here was horrific. Base 2, I got 2 out of 3. The next one went off fine. The next one went off fine. This one didn't even print. Got 4 out of 5 there. Had lots of problems with the base. Plus parts not printing, failures, things of that nature. First time goes until I got the torso, that final part, which was sitting right there. Which now that it's in the light, I don't want to handle this too much because I have not cured this, but you can see how much of a failure that is now. So... Anyway, all right. Next step, I got to get all the reprints thrown on a file and sliced and all that. Because I don't want to reprint, like, let's say here, the torso. I don't want to redo the tails and all that. It's just a waste. So I got to take this off, put it on another build of its own, which I need 1, 2, 3, that's a tiny piece. So those two, the hip and the torso probably will fit. That will probably fit. Okay, these parts I'm gonna have to figure out because I don't have accurate numbers right there. I know I don't. Because according to that, I only have 1 part.
What are you doing? Oh, did I wake you? I'm sorry. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, that's my boy. Anyway, so just in the base alone, I know that I have 1, 2. I need to reprint this one for this. I have it just up here, I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Because I know I can fix part like a mess up like that. I can fix. I literally right there's a bottle of resin, and what I do is I take the resin, all these parts like this right here, and obviously I'm not going to do much with this one, but wherever the drain holes are, I use the resin to fill in the drain holes. I've said this in the past, probably in this video. I can't remember what I've done and what I haven't. These are drain holes here. There's one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. I used Milliput, which was right there, on this. And you can see how it didn't do very good. Yeah, that one's even worse. But again, luckily, those, can you see how bad those are? No, because that's how they're going to sit. Not on that boat, but anyway. Now, the Milliput, once I got it in there, because I couldn't get all the resin out of the interior because those are hollow, the resin just kept draining. And literally over 4 or 5 days, it just continuously drained, and it never allowed the Milliput to fire or harden. So it was constantly just, yeah. So literally what I was doing was I was taking this in the morning when I'd come out here to work, and I have this sitting on a paper towel or something. The paper towel would be all wet. I just pick this up, take it over to the cure station, the wash and cure, stick it in there and cure it for, 20, 30 minutes every morning for like 4 or 5 days straight, until finally I got enough of the holes where it was coming through plugged up with the cure. And surprisingly, I didn't lose that much detail in the bottom. And so it just kind of created a film across there. But anyway, yeah, so I don't like doing it that way. So literally as I'm going through, I keep saying freaking literally. This is already, as glassy as that is, that's because this is draining. So this is what I'm talking about. That's kind of the look that it has. It becomes the rest of this is kind of dull. Now his fins are pretty shiny. This is kind of not a good part to show this process. These are the two ones that I just finished this morning. You can tell they're fairly dull when they're dry. Here's a good example again. It's really dull all through here, and it's kind of got this shiny spot here. That's because that's wet, and that's wet resin. So I don't like to get that on my hands too much. Okay, so this is something new. I'm not talking so you can hear this. So here lately, every time I start a new print, I get this sound. And then eventually it just cycles out. I don't know if that's something I need to be worried about. But throughout the course of this, and see now it's pretty much, it's still kind of doing it. But that high whirring sound, I don't know how to explain it. This has only started in the last 4 or 5 prints that I've done, but it's continuously doing it. Again, I don't know if that's something I need to be concerned with, if that's a normal sound, and see now it's just basically going away kind of slowly. I don't know. I don't understand why that's doing that. But anyway, this is the first print of the reprints. I hope I have the correct parts. I did this from memory and kind of from looking at what I was missing. But I'm reprinting on this one. I've got, oh, I forgot to put the hip in there. Yeah, I should have looked. Dadgummit. I might not have had enough space anyway for that part. I did all 3 rocks because I couldn't remember if it was the first one or which one it was. I put this one on the reprint 1, and I put these 2 because I thought it was this one, but then I wasn't sure, so I added these to the second reprint. The base, I've got the 2 that I'm missing and the one that I needed to reprint. I've got those, I think. Yeah. Okay, so at the end of that print of the dragons, both 1 and 2, and the base, this is the total tally. Totally 124 hours. That's not it. 126 hours, 32 minutes overall. That's the initial prints with another 17 hours, 48 minutes of reprints, which gave us a grand total of 126 hours. And I had a total of 72 parts, which I batched out into 17 prints. Now this tally right here does not include the reprints because I didn't write down how many. I just wrote down reprint 1, 2, and 3. I didn't put which parts or how many were involved in each one of those. And this is like a couple of weeks later now that I'm making this part. I've stopped printing for quite a while now. And I'm finally doing the video. But there he is. He's ready to paint. There's the base. It's ready to paint. And there he is. This is the first time he's on video at all. And I still have that wing left to do. The weather has been pretty rough for the last couple weeks. I literally haven't done anything. I've been sitting in my recliner just because it's every time the weather changes, I feel it. Anyway, so that's the last part of this print catalog. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. This print documentary, this print diary, whatever. That's the end of it. The next part will be the build. And as you could just see that they're all built. They're almost ready to paint. But I'll put something out on the builds here shortly. And then the paint will be the last part. So, all right. For everybody who's sticking through this, come back to continue to see the progress that's being made and hopefully the final product. Also, which I need to forewarn you guys, I am not a like massively exceptionally skilled painter. Right, this is my painting resume. Is this piece right here? Him. If I can get out of the way. Which I'm blocking all that. All right, so those 3 and him. So that's it. That's my mini painting, resume. That's I've never done anything else. So I don't know if these are going to be any good or not. I think the ATST looks pretty good. General Grievous, no. Boba, no. The downed ATST, unfortunately, the color palette that I decided to go with, in my head, I figured that was Hoth, which is all ice, and it kind of blends, the terrain blends with the thing so much that you really don't get a wide spectrum of color. But anyway, so that last part, don't expect a whole bunch. Hopefully it'll turn out decent looking, and not like a third grader did it. Actually, a third grader would probably be pretty good. I'd take a third grader, because what I'll do is probably make it look like a kindergartner or a orangutan. I think I fit more with a orangutan than a third grader. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Take care.